Hey YouTube, sorry for getting to you so late, but I've been uninspired today, mainly because the news is full again with another school shooting. Now, the T is there's been 23 so far in 2018. Now imagine that. I mean, I'm sure other countries been looking in those places and says 23 school shootings. That used to be like a thing that happened once, maybe every other year, or once a year that would be big enough to report on. But now it happens with regularity. And then the damn thing I can add to the story. There's nothing to be added to it. People have talked about it, talked about it, and talked about it. They don't choose to do anything about guns, assault weapons, nothing like that. Thank God this boy didn't have an assault weapon. Apparently, he did his dirt with a shotgun. I don't know how he shot 20 people with a shotgun, though, because don't you have to stop and reload after a second shot? I guess the pellets spray. So he probably shot 10 people, and the other 10 were getting the scrapple from, or these pellets from the shotgun. I'll tell you, I had to turn it off. It's so depressing, because there doesn't seem to be an answer for it. So even if they make these assault weapons illegal, then you have a years long process of getting the ones that are already in the country, which they say are in the millions, out of people's homes. They're not going to raid their houses. It's still out there. It's enough out there now that already last the next 50 years. Anyway, so I said, well, I don't feel like being silly seeing something like that on the news. I mean, I'm a news junkie, so I watch the news all the time, but it's one story. I don't know why cable news is like that, where they do one story and they just write the story for 3 days. But, well, let me talk about something else. So the other thing, which is already been kind of sad about this week, is all these stories of these racists caught in the act. We need to be, you know who's going to go down in history? The inventor of the cell phone. The inventor and the cell phone, someday he will get his due. He may be long gone by the time he becomes an historical figure. But that is just as important as the light bulb, apparently. So now we get to see all of these racist people in action. I'm so happy. Now I have to learn how to use my cell phone more casually. So if I see something, I can just whip it out and just do it automatic. I can't be sitting up here flipping and trying to figure it out as I'm in the store or something goes crazy, because they're invaluable in this new society. First story, they have one right here so okay, so that I don't really have anything to add to let me stick with that for a minute. To the story about these school shootings. I feel like I've said all I can say. I can't think of anything else to add to the story. I do believe that these things are strongly associated with bullying. Now, so far we haven't got the indication that this particular story today was about bullying. But we don't know. I mean, bullies, not like they're going to go telling people that I was giving this guy a hard time. And they generally do it in isolation. So far, I haven't seen any kids come forward to say that this kid was being bullied. We were bullying him. We were bothering him or something. We don't even know these guys are coming after the bullies and everyone around them. Just don't know. But I do think there's association with bullying, because you just push people so far. I just say it all the time in prison. You would take a little guy, he ain't bothering nobody. People see that as weakness. They start bullying him, and one day, snap. I see a lot of them bullied people kick some real ass. You know what I'm saying? So I know a lot of the trans girls tell me how they used to be picked on and picked on and picked on and picked on. And one day, snap. You don't want to mess with too many of them girls. A lot of them girls got hammers in their purses. Anyway, let me not get off and be offending nobody. But there's a principle there. I've been through it myself. Someone was bullying me. One day it was enough to start swinging a metal pipe. Out of control. You can only take so much. Anything, a lesson in any of this shit, it should be about bullying people, about pushing people. You don't know where they're at. It could be that this dude wasn't even being bullied. By our standards, we must say, well, that ain't shit. but we don't know what it was to him. We don't know about his mind or where he was at. What was that rap song called? Don't push me, cause I'm close to the edge. You don't know who you're fucking with. But I do believe, to imagine these little kids coming up with the idea of murdering people, that's the only thing I can think of that goes on in school. That is, I mean, it's epidemic in school system. You know how we grow up. That's kind of a part of it. That's what teenagers do, particularly preteens. You know, they pick on each other and decide to get their strength sometimes. And sometimes they just snap. So we used to people snapping and going screaming in the street, whatever. These days, they pick up a gun. It's a guess. All right, let me get off that. I hate talking about things I don't know a goddamn thing about. But I do believe that people should be studying these people because I don't see much after story. I think the problem is the people don't want to be appearing to be sympathetic towards these shooters. They don't want to be saying anything to feel like, well, maybe they had a reason to do this, a reason to do that. They only want to acknowledge what they have done, how they should be punished. So, and I'm not on the opposite end of that, but I think we should try to understand this thing a little better. Because if it's from bullying, that should be a cautionary tale for all young people about pushing people and pushing them. Okay, so that's enough of that story. Other story was all these goddamn bigots. Okay. First they had the barbecue Becky. Now, Becky, you have gotten your punishment. I think the punishment fit the crime. Becky, this girl in Oakland, that's my neighbor. You know, I live in San Francisco. Across the bridge is Oakland. A lot of black people live in Oakland. I don't know if it's technically a majority of the city, but it's certainly a place where a lot of black people live, right? Miss Becky, she lives in the good part of Oakland, one of the better neighborhoods, although there's some beautiful neighborhoods in Oakland. We hear about the things that go down in the street life, but Oakland's got beautiful areas. And I've been in many of those homes in there. A lot of those homes are bigger, nicer, even in San Francisco. But anyway, she lives in Lake Merritt. That's the big lake, man-made lake in the middle of Oakland, right? Not in the middle of it. Well, whatever. My geographics is not great. But so she's strolling along, and I guess she is so entitled that she feels like the local park is her yard. In other words, she don't give a damn if black people have been living there for 5 and 6 generations. For her, it is hers. It belongs to her. Why else would you call the police about somebody on public property? You would call the police. Now, I can understand Miss Becky if she called the police because somebody was barbecuing on her property. Now, that would be a wholly different story. Don't you agree? But no, this is a public park. And what is the horrible crime? I hope I'm not belaboring this. I know you guys have been hearing it all week. But the horrible crime, Beck, because they're using charcoals to barbecue with. Now, Becky, you deserve what you got. I never seen so many memes of you, this ridiculous argument you have. You have the right, the obligation to call the police on people in public places. So they memed her in all kind of black situations with civil rights movements and ball games and everything else. And they showed Miss Becky on her phone. Now, let me ask you people, why in the hell, if you're living in Oakland, California, a city with a huge black population, right? People you have to live near. I think she's a psychiatrist, which a lot of them are crazy. Anyway, you have to work with people. You have neighbors in your building. You have neighbors around you on your block. Why would you want the whole damn neighborhood and now the whole world to know that you are a racist bigot? Why would you want them to know that? They're not going to forget about barbecue Becky. Girl, your face has been blasted all over the country. All this because these people were barbecuing the damn park. And I would think that you would want to, you'll be wearing those dark sunzone shades and sneaking out early and late because you chose. Because to me, I think, well, Miss Becky, you see people standing around with their iPhones, camera phones out. They're close enough to your face where it will be obvious that people were filming this thing. Why would you persist in that? What was your point? What was your point? The people had a nice, clean barbecue spot. It's a public park. Public. Shared with black people, and not only with rich black people. So sometimes people want to bring their radio out and they want to have an old-fashioned barbecue. Maybe because they've been living there, their family been there for 100 years, they feel like it's their backyard as well. So Becky, you got what you deserved. People have memed you. They're having a ball with it. Being very creative. But it's going to be hard to live this one down, girl. Now, I don't know Becky's history, if she's from that area. Maybe her family's from there too, but you got to get along with your neighbors, honey. You want to take, if you want to take, ownership over something, take ownership over something you actually own. You don't own the park. There are people that work in the park. There are people who work there. It is their job. They go and say, okay, you guys can't barbecue no more. Okay, well, in the next 30 minutes, next hour, you guys got to wrap it up. Right? Their job. Why you insert yourself in a situation, I do not know. But you're getting your just desserts. Hopefully it won't ruin your residence there in Oakland. Dumb. How can you get to be a psychiatrist? Is she a PhD or a real psychiatrist? I don't know. But someone is that educated. How could you be so damn dumb? We got to get hip people. Anything you do on the street, it could be shown anywhere. It doesn't take too much for something to go viral. And we don't know what's going to go viral. You see? You do something stupid. Maybe just a few people watching it in Oakland. People see it. Or catches on, hits the YouTube streets, and boom, you're famous. This other dude. Now, he is a goddamn lawyer. See, don't overrate it because people are educated. That means that they do well with books. They retain information from books. This idiot, he has been called so many times attacking minorities, all different kind of minorities. Even Jewish, what that motherfucker's name? I forget what his name is. The lawyer in New York. In order to live in New York City, you would think that you would be much more accommodating, much more sophisticated than the average person. How does a hardcore bigot live in the heart of a city like New York City? Now, more than likely, he lives in some high-rise some damn where. He don't see a lot of minorities. He don't see a lot of different kind of people. He don't see any diversity in his life because he chooses that way. But he goes into a restaurant and he feels entitled to control what goes on in that restaurant. He ain't got no investment in the restaurant. It's not his property. So what do people speaking? You going to threaten ice on them? That shows you how much you are paying attention to that story. Scared of people. Anyway, y'all saw it. I'm so glad these people stood up and they had mariachi music all in front of the man's building. If nothing else come from it, at least your neighbors will know what a hardcore bigot you are. At least that. And in his law office, people said he is evicted. He no longer lives here. He no longer works here. I don't know how New York City, how they can evict somebody in one day. But that would be a commercial property as opposed to a residential property. So perhaps they can tell you, you got to go. You got to go. Because it ain't been one incident. He's running his mouth about Jewish people and Muslim people and Mexican people and just everybody. He just owns every damn thing. Sense of entitlement. When you people started realizing that a city the size of New York City, it has to have people, workers, to run that town. That's a big town, honey. You have to have workers. So when you want to run everybody out and to everybody lily white, them lily white folks are not serving you no coffee. What the hell? Not the ones that can afford to live in Manhattan. You need people on various levels of income. You need diversity to make a city work. I don't know why this fool think he can come in there and tell somebody what the language they're gonna speak. Here's your answer, Mr. Lawyer Man. Supposed to be intelligent because you got your, I guess you went a couple extra years and got your law degree. If you don't like the restaurant, how about this? Just an idea. Don't go there. If you go into a restaurant and the people there are speaking a language you don't appreciate, you don't shut them down from speaking. What you say is, I'm a bigot. I don't like people speaking different language, and I'll take my business elsewhere. That's what you were supposed to do. Just turn around and walk out. You do not own that restaurant. You entitled people, you got to get over this idea that you own every goddamn thing. I spent my $5. Nigga, everybody who goes in there spends their $5. No matter what color they are. And that threatened ISIS, or whatever, I call it ISIS. Maybe, I don't know, Freudian slip. ICE threatening to rip apart families, threatening these people in the restaurant that's working, trying to do their job. Speaking in a language that is comfortable for them. I'm sure that the people who actually address the customers, I'm sure they know enough English to do the job. If you're offended by it, don't go there. Of course, there were several of them, so many of them that because I was going to talk about it, I think Monday. And I'll wake up Tuesday, there's another one. Then I'll wake up Wednesday, there's another one. Then one day, there was so many of them that this dude, I thought he was the one that went off on the girl with that traditional Muslim, I don't know what it's called, I'm sorry. I don't mean offense. But the thing over her face, he'll call, is it Halloween? I confused him with the guy with the lawyer. Because there's so goddamn many of them. So this is something we have to adjust to. But hopefully these cell phones are going to help us to behave better. Particularly if you're living in New York City. My God, man. I mean, New York, Manhattan has essentially been gentrified. You want everybody out? Is that it? Everybody out? Which was the most diverse city in America. You want it to be the least diverse city in America? What happens if Manhattan is only rich people? First of all, you got to find people to work there. People are only going to travel so far. But the other thing is, at some point, you're going to have to show your credentials. You know why? Because you're not a billionaire. You don't even have a damn office no more. What if people start separating based on income? Where are you going to fit into that? And how are you going to keep up? When you have all of these stockbrokers and all of these people, these high finance people living in $100 million apartments and all this kind of shit. What if they start looking down at you? Where are you from? Could happen. All right. I can't remember all the cases. One white woman next door, she knows she's living next door to a damn Airbnb. So why would it be suspicious of her? Because people are leaving an Airbnb. Only color. That's the only difference, honey. If it was a white family moving out of their damn place, it wouldn't even occur to her to call the police because she knows she's living next door to an Airbnb. America. But I love this dude. I got to do some research a little bit. I want to find out who this dude is that made that damn cell phone because that was brilliant. Y'all remember when the cell phones came out? I said, who in the hell wants a phone? I remember the camera phone, that element to the cell phone. I said, who in the hell want to take a movie on their phone? I think at the time we were using those throwaway phones, right? I said, what's the point of having a camera on your phone? And now I think it's one of the most brilliant and useful gadgets in technology. They're just beautiful. So thank you, sir, whoever the hell you are. You've done something that's you're going to go down in history. All right, people. Just thought I'd run my mouth a little bit. Let's pray for the people who are hurt still. People who have passed their families, and then also the kids who are in the hospital. Let's pray no one else dies. Let's pray no one else is seriously maimed or anything like that. Okay. Love you guys. Talk to you later.